Imagine settling in for the evening with a warm cup of tea just as a storm rolls in. The wind outside howls like a pack of wolves, making the night feel alive and menacing. I thought I'd drown out the noise by flicking on the radio, tuning into the local chatter that seemed to fill the room with its familiar comfort. But then the mood shifted. The news anchor's voice turned grave, cutting through the mundane rhythm. "We interrupt our programming for a special report," he announced. "Authorities are investigating a murder that occurred earlier today." My heart dropped like a stone. I leaned in closer, the words echoing ominously in my ears. "Police are seeking information about a man last seen leaving the scene. He's approximately 6 feet tall, with dark hair, and a distinct tattoo on his right forearm." I froze. My mind immediately went to Jim, my neighbor, a man I'd shared casual waves with just last week. Friendly, harmless Jim, but the description fit him perfectly, and a gnawing doubt crept into my gut, settling like a leaden weight. The anchor's voice continued, sending a chill down my spine. "If you see anyone matching this description, do not approach them. Call 911 immediately." I switched off the radio, the silence pressing in on me as my mind raced. Rain battered the window, turning the world outside into a blurred wash of gray. Then, a flash of lightning cut across the sky, briefly illuminating my living room. Across the street, I saw movement. Jim's house. A shadow flitted past the window, and my pulse hammered in my ears. Grabbing my phone, I wrestled with the urge to call someone, anyone, even as instinct urged me to stay quiet. Suddenly, the lights flickered and died, plunging me into darkness. I fumbled for a flashlight, the rain pounding on the roof above like an erratic drumbeat, syncopated with my galloping heart. I crept to the window, peeking through the curtain. The storm had transformed the world into a swirling nightmare, but I could just make out Jim's figure outside, standing beneath the eaves. Even with the darkness cloaking me, I knew he was looking right at me. "Help me!" he shouted, his voice barely cutting through the storm's roar. "They think I did it!" I hesitated, fear holding me where I stood. "Jim?" I called out tentatively. He moved closer, and for a moment, the lightning revealed his face, the tattoo glaringly apparent. "Please, I need your help," he pleaded, desperation carving lines into his features. But the weight of the news report loomed large in my mind, clouding my judgment with its heavy implications. I backed away from the window, my heart thundering louder than the storm outside. A tempest raged in my head, one that dwarfed the chaos outside. I knew I had to decide. Should I risk everything to help a neighbor I barely knew, or protect myself from someone who might be far more dangerous than he appeared? It was one of those nights where the thunder felt like an approaching freight train, making the whole house shiver. I was curled up on the couch with a warm blanket, trying to ignore the chaos outside. The lights flickered, casting eerie shadows that danced on the walls, while the relentless rain hammered against the windows. It was an odd comfort, feeling both small yet safe inside my home. But then, I heard it. A rhythmic tapping at the window. At first, I shrugged it off as branches swaying in the wind. But, as the thunder cracked violently above, the tapping grew louder, more deliberate. I sat up, straining to see through the rain's relentless sheets. There was nothing, just the backyard fading into shadowy nothingness. I told myself it was my imagination playing tricks, fueled by the storm's intensity. But then it happened again, louder. My heart pounded in my chest as I stood up, moving cautiously toward the window. I parted the curtains and peered outside, expecting to see a raccoon or maybe a stray branch. But there was nothing. Just the rain-soaked grass shimmering under flashes of lightning. "Get a grip," I muttered to myself. Yet, as I turned away, I caught a glimpse at the yard's edge, a figure silhouetted against the turbulent sky. A chill ran down my spine. Who could possibly be out there in this weather? The tapping resumed, insistent and urgent. I hesitated but eventually grabbed my phone, contemplating who to call. The neighbors. But who would brave such a storm? I was frozen, torn between curiosity and fear. Then the figure moved closer to the house, revealing a face obscured by a hood. I squinted, trying to discern their features, eyes glinting with something unsettling. Panic surged through me. I backed away from the window, heart racing. Was it a lost wanderer? A thief? The tapping intensified, echoing in the house's eerie calm. I thought about locking the door but couldn't pull my gaze from the figure. Each lightning flash unveiled their face further, revealing a smile, a wide, chilling grin. That's when it hit me. I had to act. Grabbing the nearest heavy object, a lamp, I held it tightly. The storm outside roared, drowning out everything else as I braced myself to face whatever, or whoever, waited just beyond the glass. I was driving home in the middle of a torrential downpour, the kind of rain that turns roads into rivers. My windshield wipers were doing their best, but I could barely see 10 feet ahead. Navigating this winding country road was a nightmare, and to make matters worse, the storm kept getting stronger. Thunder was booming so loud it rattled my car, and I could feel my chest tighten with every crack of lightning. Then, just my luck. The engine sputtered. I cursed under my breath as the car lurched and died, leaving me stranded right there on the side of the road, miles from the nearest town, and of course my phone was useless in that downpour. Absolutely no signal. I pulled on my jacket, thinking maybe I'd find a house or a gas station somewhere nearby. Stepping out into the rain was like entering another world. The rain was drumming on my hood, and I was squinting into the murky night, hoping to catch sight of anything that resembled civilization. I started walking and my shoes soaked through almost immediately. Each step sent cold splashes up my legs. That's when I heard them. Footsteps behind me. I turned around, but the storm swallowed the sound. Just the relentless rain. I shook my head, trying to dismiss the creeping dread. It had to be my imagination, right? But as I walked on, the feeling of being watched wouldn't leave me. Each flash of lightning lit up the trees lining the road, casting eerie shadows that seemed to shift and move. I quickened my pace, half expecting someone to emerge from behind the trunks. That's when I saw them, a group of figures huddled in the trees. My stomach dropped. They were barely visible, but I could see their shapes, heads tilted toward me. Were they waiting? I didn't wait to find out. I turned heel, sprinting back toward the car. My heart was pounding in my ears. I reached the car and fumbled for my keys, stealing a glance back. The figures were closer now, their outlines more distinct. I got the door open and slammed it shut, locking it just in time. Peering through the rain-soaked window, my heart raced. The figures just stood there at the edge of the trees, silent and still, as the storm raged around us. Watching me,